Hello everybody, my name is Will and welcome back to another episode of Flyout Community Creations, where I just take out some community creations for a flight and then I don't have to build anything, and so I can save myself some precious effort. What a great advert for the series. Today, we're starting with a design from Black Nov XM6. I don't know how to pronounce that quickly, but we have the Ep.8, which is some kind of futuristic jet thing, which is apparently much easier to fly on flight stick. And as we all know, I don't have one of those, so this could be interesting. Okay, after a long time of loading, we are here on the runway, and we have to really hold the brakes down in order to keep this thing stationary. So there we go, parking brake. There's a lot of idle throttle going on this one. Supposedly, the focus of this design is on the agility, so fingers crossed, that's quite good. Let's just get to taking off. I don't know if we have... Okay, we only have a machine gun. I don't think we have any missiles on this thing. There are racks for them, but... as you know, I'm lazy, so I'm not going to populate those. And up we go. Definitely was risking a tail strike there and risking stalling, but you know, I'm in this for danger. That's what I'm here for. And already, I mean, to be fair, you say flight stick needed. It's feeling pretty stable. There's definitely some fly-by-wire going on in here, and there are endless amounts of little canards and flappy bits. That's the technical name, I believe. Yeah, we have absolutely blasted past the sound barrier here. Does this control? Yeah, this does pretty well on mouse flight. So we might, with the machine gun, be able to shoot down a target drone with this thing. So why don't we give that a shot, in fact. I've accidentally also spawned a surface-to-air missile, so that could be interesting. And fingers crossed, it just doesn't shoot me down, and we'll be okay. I am definitely feeling the agility, though, on this thing, and I don't know how good this gun is, but I'm imagining it's 20mm Gatling or something along those lines. It is not hugely accurate. I was not expecting to hit with those shots, don't worry. I'm not that crazy. Okay, we are closing in really quickly. I kind of want to slow down a little bit, to be honest. Do we have air brakes? We do. They're not slowing me down crazy amounts, but maybe enough. Come on. There we go. Got him. That wasn't even too bad. I mean, we kind of just lined up behind him, but I'll take it. We've had a few very embarrassing shots in the last few episodes. This flies absolutely wonderfully. I mean, we're comfortably pulling like 13 Gs without even having to worry about stalling out, which is that's extremely pleasant, I've got to say. And we got a cockpit interior going on in here. I was not listed off keybind, so I'm not sure if there's any way to like open the canopy or something. I'm pressing the usual suspects for keys, but nothing's happening, so I'm gonna guess no. And yeah, I'm very fond of this thing. It's I wonder what the radar cross-section is like, because it's definitely got that faceted look, but perhaps it's good, perhaps it isn't. I don't know. I'm not a stealth engineer. Is that a job title? Probably. Let's land it, shall we? Or, well, do what I sometimes call a landing and sometimes call have an accident with the plane. Just depends how I'm feeling that day, really. Okay, I've turned off the engines in an attempt to get the top speed of this thing to just go down, because the idle throttle is high enough to kind of just keep you in the air. How are the brakes? Because we're going to need them. Not actually as rough of a touchdown as I was expecting, considering I was going like well over the top speed of early war prop planes, you know? 450 odd kilometers an hour, that's fine. And we didn't get shot down by a SAM, which is an extra win. Speaking of that, that's how the countermeasures come out of this plane. There you go. Now you know. Sorry, engineers. I really probably shouldn't be firing those on the ground, but there you go. Let's see what the stealth is like on this thing, shall we? Oh, nice. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Well, thank you for this submission, and we're just going to jump straight onto the second one now. And this is the EC-121L Warning Star. I think that, yep, warning, not warming. Warning makes more sense. It's an AWACS aircraft based on the USS? The Lockheed Constellation. It is not the USS Constellation, I can guarantee you that much. Apparently, it's not 100% accurate, but that's fine. It's better than anything I would have been able to do. And I do love the Lockheed Constellation. What an absolute gorgeous aircraft. We've got 4 turboprop engines here, or are they turboprop, turbo shaft, I don't know. One of them, there's jet engines in here, and I believe that's the only thing powering these propellers. So, fingers crossed, I can actually take this thing off and fly it around a little bit, because big planes can be the scourge of me sometimes. Okie dokie, here we are on the run. Look at the size of those air brakes. I forgot the word for air brake. I was going to call them flaps for a second there. And then you've got the big AWACS radar spinning on top. Okay, cool. I like it. I like this plane a lot. I really, really like the Lockheed Constellation. Have I managed to stall it out? Maybe. Hello? Please? Uh-oh. I might have killed this plane. Are you going to come back to me? Maybe? Can we do that? What if I turn you off and then turn you back on? Okay, I've killed it. Let me try again. Okay, we're going to try and throttle up more gently this time and not just whack it straight to 100%, as I believe that might be what went wrong last time, and I may have exploded the engines. So here we go. We're actually moving this time, which is a vast improvement over last time, where apparently I was moving at -6 kilometers an hour, which I find hard to believe given I was moving forwards, but go off, Chief, honestly. Okay, right, we are about to pull up into the air, I would imagine. Yes, that's actually quite the low takeoff speed for a plane this size. I was maybe a little bit ambitious, but it worked. And up we go. Can we 100% it now? Yes, we can. Putting it into a climb. Flaps can go in. So supposedly this has a loiter time at cruise speed and altitude of 9 hours, which is, yeah, we're not going to test that today. Frankly, I don't have enough time for that. But yeah, I mean, look at this thing. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it's pretty damn nippy, to be entirely honest. We're already up to 520 odd kilometers an hour in a climb. If this was a World War II bomber, this would, yeah, outrun pretty much any fighter of the era. Maybe with the exception of, you know what, I can't think of anything. I don't even think the P-38 could climb like this. So, if you know a plane that could climb faster than 33 meters a second, then you've got something that could catch this in a climb. If it was 1940 and this plane wasn't actually built in, like, oh god, I'm gonna test my knowledge of the Lockheed Constellation here. The early 50s, I want to say? I'm not sure. I don't know why. I love the triple tail on this thing. I love the low-mounted wing. I love the 4 props. It's just such a gorgeous aircraft. And this cockpit, which killed a lot of people, I think. I believe that was one of the big flaws with the Lockheed Constellation. But, you know, that's just kind of early jet age aircraft for you. We are seriously building up some speed for an aircraft with this massive AWACS on top. And if we drop the throttle down, you can see, look how much time we get on this fuel tank. And we're at low altitude as well, so the fuel efficiency is only going to go up the higher we go. But since there's not a huge amount else to show off, like we're not going to shoot anything down with this one, I think we'll just bring it in for a landing and get on to the next one. But this is an absolutely gorgeous design. I really need to learn how to do this like riveting and weathering effect on the paint job, because that must take so much time and effort. Time and effort that I don't know if I can be bothered to do. I definitely have the ability to do it, but I don't know if I can be bothered. It's something I really, really envy. What the heck does that say? The Ave Baron Pack Air Force Navy. The Ave... What? Okay, sure. We'll just ignore that. So the more keen-eyed amongst you may have noticed when we took off the landing gear bays closing. What I want to see is when we open the landing gear again, when we're leading for landing here, is it going to be a smooth animation or are we going to have clipping? Because, you know, I've done the thing where the landing gear closes and that's all very well and good, but then having it so that the landing gear doors open before the landing gear comes out is a whole different story. You got to have like a whole logic system going on. Crazy stuff. Fingers crossed that happens after I brought that up. Otherwise, I'm just embarrassing Open Pendulum live on camera here. But, you know, Open Pendulum's been on this series before. I don't think they need me to tell them that they're a good builder at this point. Okay, we got the flaps out here. I don't think we're going to be in need of our air brakes here. We've lost a lot of speed already. And there we look. Oh, the perfect animation. The animation is absolutely bang on. No complaints. No complaints. We may need to give a little bit of throttle just to keep the speed up. Gonna trim it so that we, fingers crossed, can come in smoothly. Drop the throttle again. Keep the nose up. Let's be nice and gentle. Can we have an episode where I don't cock up every single landing? And oh, angelic. That was angelic. Look at that. I can land planes. Look at that. Oh, bang on. Ooh, can we make this exit? No, we can't. Maybe, actually. Yes. We made the first exit on the runway as well. Wow, there's one back there. The second exit on the runway as well. Beautiful. Oh, thank you for submitting this, Open Pendulum. On to the next design. Next up, we have the Farman Goliath, which is a very early French passenger aircraft, which basically just crashed, and that's about all they did. You open the front door with an O, so this is obviously how you get on, kind of like a weird bus. This is such an interesting design for an aircraft. I would absolutely love to be a fly on the wall on a passenger flight back in these days, because these kind of like planes where you basically just got a lounge seat sat in the most dangerous thing you've ever seen with the loudest engines you've ever heard, and then the pilot's just sticking his bonce out the top, like absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. And I have never obviously been in one or flown in one, probably for good reason, but I would absolutely love to. It would be such a cool experience, I think. However, also absolutely hair-raisingly terrifying. This has been designed by from a Discord server. That is KPSWZG, who has also been on this series before. Stop hogging the limelight, guys. Honestly. No. Please don't stop hogging the limelight. I need your designs. I make money off this. Please. And we're here on the runway with the FMFU, and we are ready to give this thing a take-off if the engines will turn on again. Fingers crossed we can just hit the ignition and they'll be back. And indeed they are. So this thing is probably going to take off like half the stall speed of most of the other planes that we've flown today. The Lockheed Constellation did surprise me with its flaps out, but this apparently takes off at 90 kilometers an hour, which is absolutely insane. We are really pulling hard to the left here. Please stop. Please. Hello? Uh-oh. This isn't good. Oh, there we go. That's a little bit better. I just needed to get the actual wheel on the ground. Taxiways and dirt fields are pretty much what this thing took off anyway, so this is just natural habitat for a Farman Goliath, really. Come on. 79, 80 kilometers an hour. Come on, baby. You got it. Okay. Oh, God. We need to get a good enough angle and then stop the angle of the plane, and then make sure that we can build up enough speed by lifting up this rear wheel, but also not slide off the runway. 86, 87, 88. Come on! Up! God damn you! Off the ground, please! Please! We're running out of runway here. Don't spin. No. Air. Please. Up off the ground. Oh, come on, baby. Come on, Farman. You got it. We're in the air. There we go. That is a perfectly calm and collected takeoff. I'm so glad I kept my cool during that. Whew. Right. now that we're in the air, we're going to take part in this incredible climb rate that this plane obviously has. As you can see, the last plane that we flew, 35 meters a second climb rate. This absolutely trounces that in every single, form of the term. We are obviously going to basically be in space in 5 minutes. I mean, look at this. We've built so we've built so much altitude. Come on, guys. Nice cooling breeze. Just that would be such a cool seat to be in, though. Sat in like the very front of the plane. And I mean, to be fair, this is a pretty cool seat as well. I can't lie. I have flown one plane in my life. I did one flying lesson in a Cessna 170, I think it was, and that was the experience of a lifetime, frankly. That was incredibly cool. However, I had congested sinuses at the time, and I gotta say, do not fly a plane with congested sinuses. I nearly blacked out coming back down from altitude because the pressure pushing into my sinuses was absolutely the most painful thing I had experienced in a few months before that period of time. Oh boy, that was bad. Don't do that, basically. I would like to clarify, it was safe. There was someone else in the plane with me. At that point in time, I was not in control of the plane. There was no risk of me passing out a plane as I was crashing. Just so that the, Federal Aviation Agency, that's not the one in England, but, just don't arrest me. It was safe, and it was insured, and everything was good. Honestly, me saying this has made it sound more suspicious. Just these windows as well, and the decoration inside of this thing. This is so delicately done. I'm super happy that you built something like this. I do love just weird planes. I say this all the time, and this is definitely one of those planes which just makes me go, what? And yeah, I would love to have the inventiveness, the creativity of some of the people who designed these very early age of flight aircraft. It's incredible. I'd love to see one flying, but I doubt there are any flying, to be honest. I could be wrong. Maybe there is a flying Farman Goliath. Right, we're going to bring it into land now, because once again, we're not going to shoot down any target drones, let alone catch any target drones in this thing. We did end up building quite a lot of speed up, though. I mean, quite a lot of speed relatively to most of the planes from this era. No, not really. We built up about 150 kilometers an hour of speed. This is actually quite pleasant to fly once you get it into the air. It's somewhat cathartic about it. But yeah, we gotta drop the throttle now. Bring our passengers in for the safest landing that they will have ever been part of, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, in real life, apparently 50% of these crashed. So honestly, if I don't crash it, that makes me 50% of all pilots I am better than. That is how the logic applies, I think. There is a lot of slippage going on. We do have a bit of a crosswind, but also a bit of a headwind. And I believe a headwind is good for landing. So, not the worst landing conditions in the world. We're just having to, take it slow, take it steady, keep the throttle on so that I can quickly react if anything goes horrifically wrong, but also low enough that we can just bring the plane gently down. Normally I try and keep in the entire takeoff and landing sequence, but with this I think I'm going to have to clip bits out. It's taking a long time to come back down to Earth. I mean, it's got a lot of lift, if you can, call that something to its credit. But here we go. I think we're going to touch down any second now, unless I've flared a bit too much, but I don't think I have. I think that's good. Get the wheel in control, and there we go. Throttle off. Oh, and that was a perfectly safe landing in the Farman Goliath. Voila. You may now exit the aircraft. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for submitting this, KPSWZG. On to the next design. Next up, we have a plane that I definitely didn't pick because it's called the Otter. This is the GBI-46 Otter by Comatose Sai, and if you don't know this, I know it doesn't look like it, but the avatar for this channel is meant to be an otter. It was an otter at some point in time, so Look, there's the obsession, okay? As soon as you put otter in any name, that's basically guaranteeing that I'm going to fly it. But please don't just start calling literally everything the otter. That would become a little bit dry before long. And this is a very interesting early jet design. It's obviously got a little bit of underslung pylons like MiG-21. MiG-21? That's not what I'm... Me-262, those are not even remotely similar. But also a little bit of like F2H engine design. Very interesting. I've never seen anything like this before. And we've got 4 cannons up the front here. These are 20 millimeters, presumably something like a Hispano, and a very interesting bulky fuselage with a twin cockpit in the center. So let's give it a fly, see how it performs. Okie dokie, here we are on the runway. I've not really given myself any time to look at this thing here. We're just kind of going for it. And we are sliding to the left a little bit alarmingly. There we go. That's fine. We have recovered it. So I'm looking to take off at about 400, apparently. And then I'm going to have to give it quite a lot of... genteelness, shall we say. I think, honestly, mouse flight is going to be easier for this thing. Here we go. We've got more throttle to give this thing, and it accelerates like the clappers, I gotta say. These 2 engines are putting out quite the chunky amount of thrust. Right, there go the landing gear. It definitely has some Me-262 vibes about it. This general pill shape of the fuselage does feel a little bit Me-262, but it doesn't have that, how do you... teardrop shape when you look at it from the front and rear of the 262. We are absolutely cracking along here. Whoa! I was expecting this thing to be a little bit more sluggish and heavy, but absolutely nothing of the sort going on here. Can we break the sound barrier with this? We're going to struggle. These are not afterburning jet engines. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be possible to break the sound barrier at sea level. Different story maybe once we get a little bit of altitude. We'll give it a shot. Let's see if we can break the sound barrier. Why not? Jesus, that is a... that is a climbing aptitude right there. Wow. Okay, we have a little bit of altitude, not a crazy amount of altitude, but I'm worried if we go too high, the engines are going to start losing thrust because they are not afterburning engines. So fingers crossed we can crack the sound barrier here. I'll cut to whether we do or don't. The answer is a don't, which I'm not hugely surprised about. The wings are not particularly swept, which is not going to be fantastically useful for a supersonic aircraft. And as you can see, it pulls a lot of Gs. We're pulling 15 Gs at this altitude, and if we drop this altitude again, we might break the sound barrier in a dive here. In fact, I think, yep, there we go, Mach 1 in a dive. So it can technically just about break the sound barrier. Realistically, I think these wings would probably have been shorn off by now, but Flyout doesn't do that. If I pull at lower altitude, you look at that, 22.6 Gs. That is absolutely insane levels of Gs. The pilots would be turned into mush long before now, but, you know, it's promising that it can do it. Supposedly, the law behind this one is that it failed due to its ability to carry secondary weapons. I gotta say, if these wings were maybe a little bit stubbier and had a little bit more reinforcement, then maybe you'd be able to get a couple bombs on these wings. I don't know. You could put a little Bombay in the back, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, you could have made this work. Cowards, Canada. Cowards. Okay, I've spawned in a target drone, as we do have 20mm in the nose that we can use to shoot this thing down, and we should have no trouble catching it. So let's see what we can do. Is that target drone going to smash into the mountain, or is it going to make me smash into the mountain? Who knows? Struggling to see the target drone right now. Dropping the throttle so that we can lower our closing speed to it. I don't know if we have air brakes. I don't think we do. Let's try and lead a couple shots on this target drone from long range. Don't know what our ammo reserves are like, but I can't imagine they're too bad. Come on, there we go, we got them. Not the furthest distance to hit them from, but yeah, I'll take it. Not my worst shot ever. Okay, landing time. Looks like the fuel reserves are a little slim. We're already down to 64%, so whacking this thing to 100% throttle all the time is definitely not the way you're meant to fly this. I imagine the cruise throttle is probably way down here at like 50%, but Yeah, oh well. Yeah, the lack of air brakes might actually be a bit of a challenge here, because it is quite got quite the high idle throttle, and it's got quite a lot of energy retention in a flat, so fingers crossed the turning energy retention isn't as good, so I can drain it all by doing maneuvers like this. Whoa. Okay, I'm nearly crashing. When I've got the flaps out, it turns so hard that it stalls itself. I think I'm going to have to turn the engines off here, because we do have too much throttle to really slow down, and I think mouse aim is going to be the way to land this one. Fingers crossed we can drop our altitude a little bit. The flaps are pretty aggressive at this level, so maybe I drop them to a 2. Come on, down. Yeah, that's not the smoothest landing we've had today, but you know what? That's actually up against some pretty tough competition today. That constellation landing earlier was gorgeous. However, you know, it counts. We landed. No one died. Not today. Oh, okay. There we go. That was the GBI-46 Otter. Thank you so much for submitting this, Comatose. You may need this front landing gear to turn. On the ground, it is a little hard to control with just the rudder, but there we go. On to the final design for today. And up next is the Pemberton Bailey Litfield Mark I by De Boerman. And this is not going to be breaking any top speed records. So apparently this is a 1929 monoplane medium bomber. It features an odd mix of nearly obsolete and forward-thinking design elements, which definitely fits the vibe. This is completely made up, and apparently I'm going to check the description for the controls. Okay, so now that I know how to fly it, let's give it a go. Okay, and here we are on the runway, and just as before with the Farman, this is totally up my alley. I just love things like this. We have one synchronized firing gun in the nose here. That was a strange noise that I got. Sounded like dial-up. Ooh. Okay, I did actually take this off earlier, and I will confirm it didn't do this. This is just pilot error, which is going on right now, so don't hold this against the Pemberton. And this is unfathomably agile. It is very, very, very light with a lot of wing surface area, so you can pull some serious maneuvers in this thing. But, yep. Up into the air already. As you can see, it's basically short takeoff and landing. You'd probably get this thing off a carrier if you tried hard enough. It's quite large. There's 2 people in here. As you can see, we got a cockpit that's doing things. We got a telescopic gun sight for our little, what I'm assuming is a 7mm gun, and bomb rails that don't have any bombs on in this version. I don't know if bombs were included in the file. I think they were, but I think they were modded, and I don't have the mod, so I think that's where the bombs have gone. But oh well, that's my bad, but pff, who cares? And we are already roughly at its top speed of 250-ish kilometers an hour. It is not exactly going to break the sound barrier, this one. But as you can see, agility, I mean, you cannot complain. You could probably tangle with a lot of the fighters that would be going up against this thing in 1929. Probably after a while start losing out in the turn, just because monoplane, obviously, probably not going to turn quite as well as a biplane of the era. But yeah, this is really cool. I really, really like this. However, unfortunately, we have no bombs, and we're not going to catch a target drone, so there's not a lot else that we can really do, I don't think. Hello, Jimmy. How's it going? So, yeah, I mean, why don't we just bring her in for a landing? And you know what? I might try and take this thing off from a carrier and land it back on, just as a little bit of a... I said it could do it, so let's, you know, put my money where my mouth is. Also, because this episode is maybe a little bit short. I don't know. Maybe the runtime is long enough that I don't need to do this, but who cares? This is another one where I'm definitely going to cut parts of this landing out. This is, yeah, long lead time for landing. Undershot the runway here. Just had to give it a couple more beans, but there we go. Now we are coming down for a landing. I'm very at the stall speed. Oh, of course, I had to mess one up, didn't I? Oh, well. It's mostly in one piece. Time for a carrier landing. There is no carrier here. We have, however, invented the torpedo. Well, if you enjoyed this one... What is going on? What on earth? Clearly the carrier has either moved or been removed. Well then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel for more torpedoes like this. But for now, I will see you in the future. Goodbye! And as always, a huge thank you to channel super supporters Peter Seifert, CamJam135, Cody Fox, Rulsos Bokken, Marlon Gwecken, Stug3, Terra, and supporters Dude Yeah and the Canesian Emperor. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And the Patreon's gone now, so I don't need to bring that up. So yeah, I just got this dead airspace that I gotta fill with my own voice. Wow.